Hello and welcome back inside the MMA War Room with Shrikar Rajendran and Chris Schroyer. I'm Sam Corcoran. It's been a minute since I've been on. This is my first episode.
It's been a very, very long time.
It's been almost a month since I've been on. But hey, I'm not dead yet. I'm back. I'm here. We're in the War Room, fellas. Back-to-back weeks of pay-per-view cards. This is something we have not seen in a minute. I don't know if we've seen it ever before, if I'm going to be honest. UFC 365.
267 and 268 were back-to-back as well.
Got it. So that was the last time we saw back-to-back cards. Been like 6 years. First time on Paramount Plus they're doing this. Second fight ever on Paramount Plus. Fellas, how do you feel about this card right off the bat? Volk Lopes being the main event.
I think in some respects, this main card is very much equivalent to 324's main card. Obviously, minus the Kayla Amanda, that version. I think the top three fights on this card are absolutely insane. Volk Diego, we'll get into it more as we go more further into the video, but I think that fight is going to be really, really good. All right. You can say what you want about it being a fair or unfair matchup. We're going to see it. Is going to be good. And we'll talk more about it when we get there. But also Fiziev Ruffy, that's going to be great. Hooker BSD is going to be a great fight. I think they packed the top three with like actual bangers that, again, is very, very what they're trying to go for with the Paramount deal. They want to keep people watching the whole time and not just for one specific fight. So, yeah, I think it's a great card.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, you know what you're getting when you go to places like Australia, France, Brazil. It's going to be filled with hometown fighters, which I think is, it's always good. It kind of raises morale in the stadium, and the whole stadium and country gets behind one guy. Kind of, I like to say it gives him like superpowers because, I mean, personally, it's never happened for me before, but I'd feel pretty hyped if I had a whole group of people behind me. But yeah, I also like how they're doing the finale of the road to the UFC as the early prelims. I think that it's interesting. It's going to be interesting for all of these fighters because, they're coming from the regional circuit, road to the UFC. It's on a astronomically smaller scale. And now these guys are trying to get their shot to have a UFC contract in front of tens of thousands of fans. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can deal with the pressure and just the size of the moment. But yeah, main card, I think it's going to be good. I like what Shrikar said. The top three fights, definitely all going to be bangers. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Sam, haven't been here in a while. How do you feel about it?
How do I feel? Oh man, I love this card. I think it's very interesting with the early prelims, the finale to Road to UFC. I think that's actually a really fun thing they're doing here. And it's not just some fights. It's not about like fighters that, maybe they'll be out of the UFC in 2 years or something like that. This is something I feel like I can get a little more excited about than some bottom tier fighters in the UFC. Now, some of these fighters will not end up being in the UFC, but I still think like a good way to end a TV show. I remember when the Ultimate Fighter ended. I think that was UFC 319. That was fire to watch. I'm excited to see this. I think the regular prelims are solid. And I think the main card is fantastic. I think you have great fighters all around. The top three fights are amazing. You also have Tuivasa coming back. I'm very excited to see what he can do. You're laughing at that, Shrikar. What's up?
No, okay. I'm gonna wait to see your prediction and then we'll see.
You're good. I'm just. It's been a minute for him, and I know he's a fan favorite down under. So
it's just. I'm sorry. It's just the last time I saw Tuivasa, he was like very overweight. So like, I'm curious, is he in shape or is he not? Let me know in the comments.
He did open a brewery.
Yes, he did. But his parents did own a bakery.
Yeah, they did own a bakery.
Anyways, let's get into picks right off the bat. Starting at the bottom of the card, the first one, Namsrai Batbayar versus Aaron Tao. Shrikar, I'll start with you for this one. What you got for this prelim at 125?
So this one is just two absolute brawlers, and I'm rolling with Aaron Tao to get it done. Batbayar's style is definitely weird. Like at long range, it's almost like traditional martial artsy, kind of a mix of karate, switching stances, giving you some awkward looks in southpaw. And then the second they get into the pocket, he's just swinging like every other guy, you know? And Tao definitely, I wouldn't say he's a very fundamental guy. He's pressure, big overhands, explosive entries, definitely some power shots, but I think he's a little less wild, a little cleaner. Honestly, he just feels more UFC ready right now to me. Batbayar can definitely have moments, though. I could see a takedown landing. I could see a scramble. I could see a fight where it's like, you get one, I get one. But in the pocket, I will trust Tao's durability. I will trust his pace in a scrap. So give me Aaron Tao by decision. But I definitely think it will be competitive. And I definitely think it's going to be a slugfest to open up the card.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this fight, I definitely feel like Namsrai Batbayar is the better fighter in terms of just technical skills, maybe even power as well. But then I look at Aaron Tao, and he is just an absolute dog. Like, this guy is insane, and he looks very scary too. I mean, he has a whole face tattoo that goes from the bottom of his chin to the bottom of his nose. It almost looks like a Bane mask, but I'm assuming it's, tribal tattoos from him being from the area. But yeah, I like what Shrikar said. I actually told him before this that I think Aaron Tao is going to get pieced up. But I'm going to roll with Aaron Tao because being in, his home country, home region, I like his odds. I like his chances. And also what Shrikar said, I think he might be a little more UFC ready. And I feel like the UFC might be banking on him to win just because he's been a fan favorite on the regional scene and he already has a little bit of a following. And yeah, I mean, I don't like to bank on guys where their best attribute is kind of just their durability and their toughness. But in a fight like this against someone like Batbayar, who can, be unpredictably good, but sometimes it's not to his strength. I think Aaron Tao, if he just walks him down, it might cause some trouble for Batbayar, and he might not know what to do with that. So yeah, I'm gonna go Aaron Tao. I'm gonna say by decision because I think both these guys are fairly tough. And I mean, I think big shots are gonna land, but I don't see anyone getting put out in this.
Yeah, this is a tough one to pick. I'm going to be honest with you. Both of these guys have dominated their competition. Both have one loss. Aaron Tao's loss came on Dana White's Contender Series, which I found a little interesting. I think when you look at these two guys, Chris, you said I think Aaron Tao is a little more UFC ready than Batbayar, and that's why I'm leading him at this point. But Batbayar has a chance to prove something big here. And I think it's a good opportunity against an opponent who he is definitely capable of beating. This is going to be a dogfight. This is not going to be a domination. I'm going Aaron Tao. I'm probably going to take a decision here. If I'm going to be honest with Aaron Tao, I think this is going to be a back and forth battle. Batbayar has never, ever gone the distance either. So I'm very curious to see how his cardio holds up. But Batbayar can do it all. He can wrestle. He can ground and pound. He can box. He can do whatever you need. But I am going to go with Aaron Tao, the more UFC polished fighter, in my opinion, for this. So clean sweeps to start. If we move on up, next fight, Sulangrangbo versus Lawrence Louis. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I think it's Louis.
Louis, something like that.
Lawrence
we'll
Louis.
go. Let's see. I'm looking. Yeah, Lock-in Louis is
dude. His nickname is literally Lock In.
Lock-in. Yeah,
dude.
Well,
oh my god, if he wins, the UFC will have Lock-in and Lock Dog in Vinicius Oliveira.
Lock Dog. That's kind of funny. Well, the question: will he lock in for this fight? I can start with this one. I think he will. I think he gets the win here. I think when you look at, he is the underdog in this fight, I will say. Going up against Sue. But at the end of the day, I think when you look at all his attributes, I think he just stacks up a lot better. This guy has, again, dominated his competition, has decent cardio, can do great boxer at the end of the day. And I think that really helps against a guy who has, in all fairness, been battle tested. But I do think I do lean lock in at the end of the day. I don't know why. I'm just feeling it right now. And I will say with Sue, hey, 3 of his first 4 fights, he went 1-3. He has been on a tear since then. So it's definitely, I think that's why he is favored at this point. But I'm gonna go Lawrence Louis for me. I don't know. I just got a feeling.
I'm gonna be real. I'm pretty high on Sulangrangbo. Like I think this dude could definitely be something in the UFC. He's 20 years old, and his striking already looks better than most guys coming out of this whole road to UFC pipeline. Definitely has some clean combos, real pop in his shots. The precision is there. I think he's great. He has great timing. Not just flurries, and that he's a really, really good rear uppercut as well. And the storyline is funny too, because he's actually Sumu Darji's cousin. But when you watch his striking, I think his striking already looks cleaner than Sumu Darji. So that's how high I am on him. Lawrence Louis is definitely an awkward fighter. He comes from City Kickboxing. So when you think about that, Jim, you think of, guys that are more flowy, I would say, like an Izzy Adesanya. But I feel like Louis is more so the opposite. I think he comes forward with this, tight guard, kind of just a pressure guy, big right hands, goes for the clinch entries, goes for the takedown attempts. Just kind of an annoying spam wrestler, I guess you could say at times. But I think Sulangrangbo's timing is going to catch him. I think whether it's an uppercut, whether it's a knee, whether it's something sharp, right as Louis tries to close the distance, I'm going to say Sulangrangbo wins by knockout. That's going to be the pick. I'm looking at the odds right now. The over 2.5 is plus 130. I'd try and get it to over 1.5 if you could, because I think it will end in a finish. But if you want to be a little safer, but I'm backing the favorite. I think he shines here.
Yeah, I'm with you, Shrikar. I'm taking Sulangrangbo by KO, TKO. I think the biggest thing to notice in this is the age difference. Sulangrangbo is 20 and Lawrence Louis is 29. So pretty wide gap in age.
Ooh,
but
wow.
Sulangrangbo has I'm doing quick math right here. It wasn't so quick in my head. 5 more fights. It took me a minute. I think that's very interesting to see how active he's been, especially how young he is. And Sam mentioned he was 1-3 in his first 4 fights, and now he's 10-3. So he has been on a tear. When I look at both of them, I see on one side with Lawrence Louis, he kind of is just very tough. He stands upright, a little bit too upright for my liking, but he'll just walk you down. He really doesn't care what's being thrown at him. Even if he's getting hit, he's just going to try and apply pressure and crack you and, make you rethink twice with what you're throwing at him. And even if you're hitting him, if it's not working, then it might, make your confidence, like it might deplete your confidence a little bit. But with Sulangrangbo, I mean, his striking is very good. I'm very high on his striking, like Shrikar said. Just very flowy and crisp. It's just super fluid when you watch him. And I think that when you have a style like that, and then you have a style like Louis where he's just going to try and walk you down, I think he's going to have to play it a lot more defensive than he's been playing most of his other fights, because his Sulangrangbo's timing is impeccable. And I think he's going to catch him. I'm not sure what he's going to catch him with, but he has everything at his disposal: kicks, uppercuts, punches. But yeah, I think that he's gonna make quick work of him, honestly, and shine in the UFC. I'm excited. And I mean, the sky's the limit for this kid. He's only 20. So yeah, give me Sulangrangbo by knockout.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, I think. I think you mentioned, I think Lawrence Louis just being tough really gives him, in my opinion, the upper edge. Both these guys are tough, though. I think it should be a dogfight. Again, I'm a fan of all these fights, I got to be honest. Keiichiro Nakamura versus Sebastian Szalay, I think is how you pronounce it. Chris, I'll start with you for this one at featherweight. Who you got?
Yeah, this should be a good fight too. These guys are gonna scrap. I'm gonna go with Szalay, might be Szalay. I'm gonna go with Szalay in this one, but I think Nakamura definitely has a path to victory, and I think it could be a lot closer than it might be, or than I'm thinking that it will be. Szalay, he's not gonna have the striking advantage necessarily in terms of speed. He might have in power. I think a lot of people are high on Nakamura because, I mean, he kind of just runs through people, but his defense is just more offense. And sometimes I don't think that's, necessarily the best way to go. I do think that he is a good striker, and, pressure does crack fighters. at a point, especially when you're moving backwards. That's kind of where you really see how good a fighter is, if they can fight off the back foot, which is pretty hard to do. But Szalay, I mean, he's just solid. I would say he's technically sound. He does have grappling too. So I think he's going to need to be a little more assertive in this fight than maybe in the past, and just kind of, show Nakamura that he's not going to be able to walk him down. You're in this, you might have to eat or you might have to eat 2 shots to land one, but you gotta make sure that one shot you're bringing is a kill shot. I don't necessarily think that Szalay has the kill shot to knock out Nakamura, but I just think he has the overall capabilities of grinding this one out, making this kind of like a wear and tear fight, and just, being that heavy presence on Nakamura to not let him kind of like I said, just walk him down. So I'm going to go Szalay by decision, but I think it'll be a good fight. And Keiichiro he's a good prospect. So even if he loses this, I could see him being back in the UFC in some way, even quite soon. I mean, he's 27, Szalay is 31. So both guys, one guy is kind of exiting his athletic prime in Szalay, and one guy is right in it in Keiichiro. So I'm looking forward to this one. I think it'll be a good fight, but Szalay by decision is the pick.
Yeah, I got Szalay by decision as well. Kind of similar, Chris. I kind of see this fight going the same way. Kind of just like a Szalay walking him down. And Nakamura is good. This is going to be a close one again. Like I said, all these fights are going to be close. I think it's just who can walk the other down, who can walk the other opponent down the most in this fight. To me, that's Szalay.
Yeah, I'm going Sebastian Szalay. Definitely close fight. Nakamura looks sharp at range. Definitely has a wide stance, kind of like a karate southpaw sort of thing. He says McGregor inspires him. I don't fully see McGregor, but I see the stance. I see the timing. And I'll give him credit. He's not just running outside. He'll get dirty inside too, dirty boxing, definitely willing to scrap. But the thing is, I don't love his distance management. And against someone like Szalay, that gap is eventually closing. Shalay's a hook guy, shorter reach, definitely the heavier hands in close range, good body work, has 5-round experience. He can fight out of both stances. He's also fought in Eternal for a minute, and Eternal definitely produces real prospects. This feels like a competitive fight. I think both guys are going to have moments, but Szalay has the bigger moments. I will go Szalay by decision. I'm looking at the over 2.5, sitting at plus 100. I think it seems good, but it's definitely scary because road to UFC can get a little bit messy. But I'm sticking with Szalay on the cards.
I'm glad you mentioned the reach too, because there actually is a pretty big size advantage for Nakamura.
Yeah.
He's 5'10", Szalay is 5'6". The reach is 4 inches as well, 4.5 actually. So yeah, that's why I think Szalay is gonna really have to, assert himself and not let him get bullied by the bigger fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, one more fight for road to UFC, and it is between Sangwook Kim versus Damar Fan.
Yo, look at these nicknames: Street Buddha versus Frogman.
That
might
crazy.
be the best nickname battle of all time.
Street Buddha versus Frogman. All right. Well, Streetcar, are we going Street Buddha or are we going Frogman for this one?
I'm taking Street Buddha. He is the better grappler, better clinch worker. He's young, so I think there's definitely an improvement improvement curve that's there. I think the money zone for him is the body lock. He's strong on top, good back takes. He's just annoyingly effective in the grappling exchanges. Sangwook Kim is definitely gritty. I believe he was a Korean Navy SEAL. Definitely a pressure fighter, not a guy that's going to quit. But he also feels like a guy who's still not fully composed, and he's 32 years old, There's still holes yet to be patched for him. And style-wise, pressuring into a better grappler usually ends pretty badly. So I don't love calling a finish for Damar Fan. I think he wins positionally, and I think he just racks up control time. So I'll say Damar Fan by decision, and I'll also take a look at the odds here. I believe, so Damar Fan is still the favorite. I think if you want the over 2.5, that is priced at minus 200. I mean, that feels pretty live, but it's probably better as a parlay piece. Kim has never been finished. Fan isn't exactly a one-shot knockout guy. But I do think Don Marfan gets it done here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm going Don Marfan by decision as well. I think you said it perfectly, Shrikar. He is a grappler, but I would say he's actually more of a better kickboxer in my opinion. But his advantages on the feet allow for him to be able to shoot takedowns, especially when fighters least expect it. It's kind of like what we were seeing with Rafael Fiziev in these last couple of fights, where you're not really expecting him to shoot a takedown, but I mean, now Fiziev has been a better grappler, so I think we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I think it was a good comparison because it's what he did to Justin Gaethje. It's like you're expecting a fight on the feet, and then maybe you're landing some shots, and then you just shoot a takedown when your opponent's really not expecting it to come their way. It works. It does work. But I think he has everything. And Sangwook Kim definitely is a solid fighter. He's another guy that's just technically sound. Like nothing really stands out to me like over the top in one aspect of his game. He does like to walk forward, and I think he does, spam wrestle a little bit. He just doesn't get deterred. But in this fight, I think that Don Marfan, he's going to be able to assert his dominance on the feet, which will definitely allow for some openings in the grappling department, which I think he can utilize very nicely. But if Sangwook Kim comes out there and he just starts walking him down and really, putting the pressure on him, keeping him on the back foot and just keep shooting takedowns, there is a path to victory for him. But I'm gonna roll with the home region guy, or home not hometown because he's from Queensland or Brisbane. But yeah, I think that this
country guy,
home country, home country.
Yeah,
I think that this is definitely a good fight for Don Marfan, and I think we could see this guy become a little bit of a fan favorite. And he's young, he's 25, so I mean he's a good prospect, and Sangwook Kim is 32. I feel like we've seen a lot of big age discrepancies in these road to the UFC fights. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting, but yeah, give me Don Marfan by decision.
I also got Don Marfan by decision. I mean, you mentioned being a fan favorite, Chris, potentially. If your name is Street Buddha, you better be a fan favorite. You guys said it all. I just think you have the better fighter here. I think out of all the fights, I think this one could potentially be the least close. This guy's a dog. This guy's tough. And that's what you need for the UFC. I think this guy makes his way to the UFC with this win. I'll keep it pretty simple as that. One more early prelim, and this is a fight that is not as part of the
this is an actual UFC fight.
This is an actual UFC fight. Kaan Ofli versus Yizha. This is a good one. I like the matchup here. I think at the end of the day, I am going to go Yizha by submission here. I think Ofli has been known to put up a good fight. I believe who was his last opponent against? It was who was it? It was somebody who he Ricardo Ramos, and I had Ramos in that fight. I think.
Yeah, because you guys both had Ramos, and
that was the Brazil card. Yeah,
I took Ofli.
Yeah, I do remember that. He did impress me a lot. Yizha, on the other hand, I believe he fought in Shanghai.
Yeah, he destroyed won that fight.
Weston Wilson. Yeah, I think we all picked Yizha for that one. I think you look at Yizha, I think he's just a more well-rounded fighter here. I think his submission game and ground game is a lot better than Kaan Ofli's, and I think that's where he really separates himself. So give me Yizha by submission here.
Yeah, I'm going Yizha. People watch one fight and think Yizha is just a boxer, but he's definitely more complete than that. He's a southpaw. He's definitely got power, tricky hands, solid kicks, especially to the legs, and he's got a real submission resume too. I think he has like 14 sub wins. So, look, I think Ofli's path is obvious. You got to wrestle. You got to pressure this guy. You just got to grind him against the cage. Pause. But here's the issue. He got out-grappled by Naimov. And Yizha's ground game is good enough to make the wrestling less effective. Now I look at the feet, and Yizha's obviously the better striker, as I just mentioned. So if anyone is getting finished here, I think it's Ofli. So I'm going to go Yizha by decision. I do think the knockout is possible. Let's see what the other fight lines are. Over 2.5 is -220. I think that's pretty gross, to be honest, but it's probably the side if you have to play it. But I'll say Yizha wins, most likely decision. But I think the knockout prop could be good as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Yizha as well. Clean sweep for the War Room. I think that he's just the better fighter, in my opinion. But I can see Kaan Ofli winning this fight. But it's gonna have to be through grappling. You know, you have Yizha, who's just a very aggressive grappler, and he likes to get his opponents to the floor, and he's just constantly shooting for submissions. And sometimes he could put himself in a worse position than he was in if he's versing a good grappler who knows, solid reversals. I feel like Kaan Ofli, he's a good grappler in his own right. Don't get me wrong. He's just more of I'm going to kind of get you down or take you to the fence and hold you here instead of really kind of working his subs. And, I think that might have to do with his size a little bit. It's kind of hard to get a lot of submissions when you're undersized. Your limbs aren't very long. But yeah, I think Yizha, he's very powerful on the feet. He has a good ground game. I feel like the grappling could cancel out because even if Kaan does get him down, I think Yizha is a lot more likely to get a sub off his back than Kaan Ofli would be. So I don't know how he's going to want to play it. And then if it stays on the feet, I mean, Yizha he's 100% at an advantage, like Shrikar said. I'm actually going to take him by knockout because I think the grappling will cancel out. And even though it was Weston Wilson, and I know, Weston Wilson isn't the best and he's kind of a punching bag right now. I really was impressed with what I saw from Yizha on the feet. So yeah, I'm going to take him by knockout, and I could definitely see a, club and sub, but yeah, I think he has all the tools to get this one done and make it emphatic too. So that's my thoughts.
Well, moving on to the normal prelims with the fight that was scheduled for UFC 3, not UFC, not a number card, excuse me.
It was the Perth card.
UFC Perth, the Perth card back in September. Jonathan Micallef versus Oban Elliott. Micallef's the favorite here. And I do remember picking this fight back when we did the Perth predictions. I need to see who it is. While I do that, Shrikar, you want to start with the softball with who you got now? And I'll go through all the predictions once I find it.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to take the underdog. I'm going to take Oban Elliott. At first, I leaned Micallef, but then I was like rewatching some tape. I'm like, nah. I think Oban is tighter, definitely crisper, cleaner, less wasted motion, less, slappy shots. Micallef definitely has long arms. He's got some awkward kicks, but I think Oban's boxing looks sharper, and he's got the body kick game too. And the whole fight between Sangwook Kim and Phil Rowe, I actually think that helped Oban's stock for me because that loss doesn't look as bad now because Sangwook Kim is really good. So I can see Oban hurting him. Right hands, body kicks, straight shots. Micallef is definitely tough, but he is not impossible to hurt. So I'm going to say Oban gets it done. So in terms of bets, obviously Oban's an underdog, so I would take his money line. If you want Oban by knockout, it's plus 800. I think that's worth the sprinkle. The over 2.5 is minus 215. But I actually think Oban could get a finish. If Oban's knockout prop is at plus 800, definitely sprinkle that. Otherwise, I'd just take the money line, but give me Oban.
You want to go, Sam, or should I? I can go.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take Jonathan Micallef in this one. Second instance of parity. Yeah, I feel like Oban definitely could win this fight, and I actually think I took him to beat Micallef when we did our Perth predictions. I believe so. I might have to double check that if I didn't.
I think it was
a
clean sweep on Micallef.
It might have been. I think I wanted to take Oban, so I'll have to double check that. But yeah, I've always been a fan of Oban Elliott, the Welsh gangster. I mean, that's an awesome nickname, and he does fight like that. He just throws caution to the wind, but he is very tight and crisp with his boxing and striking. For me, it might be a little bit of recency bias, but from what I saw in that Sangwook Ko fight was that Oban, when he gets tagged, he gets very tentative and he doesn't really want to push the pace like he's known for doing and like he can do. And he got taken down 6 times in that fight. And that was just because, he felt the power of Ko and he got a little complacent with his game because he didn't want to get tagged or knocked out. I don't think Micallef has the same striking as Ko, but I do think he is very solid striking and he is powerful. I mean, he doesn't have the death touch. I'm not going to sit here and say like he's some, world beater on the feet, but I think he does have the ability to mix it up and he is 100% the better grappler in this matchup. So I think if Micallef just, lands a couple of good shots and gets Oban second guessing about what he wants to do and how he wants to move forward, I think it's just going to open up the grappling even more than I already see it. And I think that he might be able to take down Oban a few times and hold him there. Or even go for a finish. I'm going to say decision though. I'm going to say Micallef by decision. But this is going to be a fun scrap. Don't get me wrong. And Oban definitely has a path to victory, but right now I'm siding with Micallef.
Go ahead and toss me that lone wolf, Sam.
Yeah, I will toss you that lone wolf because I think I'm going to go Micallef right now.
Let's go.
And by the way, I looked through the predictions. We recorded the episode after the bout got canceled. So we did not record predictions for it, unfortunately.
Oh, all right. So that might have taken Oban.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm going. I think Micallef was the one that fell ill.
No, it was Oban.
It was Oban.
It was
Oban. Okay. Yeah. Well, nonetheless, Micallef's been. That makes Micallef the hungrier fighter, man. You were preparing all the time. The fight gets canceled. You do it again. That's a hungrier fighter right there. I'm not saying that's the reason.
Not in Cop versus Roybal.
Definitely not in Cop versus Roybal, I will say.
Don't remind me of that.
Yeah. Listen, I think like you said, Chris, I think when Oban gets tagged, it can go downhill quick. And I think that's what Micallef does a fantastic job of. So I'm going to take Micallef the favor right now. It'll be a very close fight, but give me Micallef by decision for this one.
Let's go, man.
Let me get that. Yeah,
there is light sharp money on Oban Elliott. I guess I wouldn't even call it sharp.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up, Jacob Malkoun versus Torrez Finney. Excuse me. Wow, that was a bad botch. Torrez Finney, 11-0. Does he stay undefeated, Chris? He is the underdog in this fight. Does the O come off the board?
No, give me Torrez Finney by decision. I know everyone thinks Torrez Finney stinks. Really doesn't have a striking game. Great grappler. Do not get me wrong. First fighter to ever show up on Contender Series 3 times. And he won every single fight. It's just they're all boring. I mean, I think that Malkoun is definitely
he was on
very
twice
good.
In one season, too.
Yeah, I know. It's hilarious. But Malkoun, I think that he has the advantage in the striking game. Don't get me wrong, because Torrez Finney doesn't really have a striking game. But Malkoun's not really a striker. He's more of a grappler. Malkoun kind of just likes to walk in. He throws big shots. And if he does connect, then, so be it. Game over. He also is the only guy to win by knockout from his hip when Andre Petrosky shot a takedown and knocked himself out on his hip bone. But I think that Torrez Finney is just going to kind of assert his dominance. I really think that this is going to be a 15-minute wrestling match. And if that's how I feel that this fight's going to go, picks aside, I'm going to have to go with the better grappler. And I think Torrez Finney is going to get it done. He's like plus 130 right now. But yeah, I like his chances in this fight. Hopefully maybe he can make it a little bit more entertaining so he can get people off his bad side. But yeah, give me the dog in this fight.
I'm also going to take the dog in this fight in Torrez Finney. And I am kind of with the crowd that doesn't really like Torrez Finney that much. I think he needs to prove a lot more. I think 11-0, the fact that he is 11-0 is kind of crazy at this point. But Malkoun's ground game is atrocious. And that's where Torrez Finney feasts off of. That's what he feasts off of, is his ground game. If you're an undefeated fighter, that does say a lot about you. Whether or not it's good wins, whether or not it's bad wins, Torrez Finney's an undefeated fighter. He knows how to get the job done. And I think he beats Malkoun on the ground. I'm not 100% sure Malkoun is really cut for the UFC. I'm going to be honest with you. And I think this fight will really show it. I'm going to go Torrez Finney by decision. Could be a submission, but I'm going to stick to the decision for now.
By the way, Malkoun's takedown defense is 20%.
Yeah, it's atrocious. It's going to be on the ground.
Lord, mercy above. We have parity in the war room. I'm going Jacob Malkoun. All right. Give me another lone wolf, man. I just don't know with Torrez Finney, man. Like I'm kind of seeing some of the things you guys are seeing, but at the same time, I really don't. Like Finney is built like a wrecking ball for sure. Ridiculous strength. Definitely like more so like glue wrestling, heavy top pressure. I think it's interesting that he's training with DC. But being short and strong obviously doesn't mean you're DC. DC was a freak athlete. The problem with Finney, I think, is what I'm trying to say is he looks muscle bound, and I don't trust his striking. I don't trust his cardio, even over 3 rounds. I think Malkoun is the better MMA fighter, more experience, has better jabs. He's fought legit guys. You know, people forget he gave Brendan Allen a real fight. Like he's not a bum. Unless the back injury or the layoff is a huge factor, I don't see Finney winning this. So I'm going to take Jacob Malkoun. The over 2.5 is -210. I could see Finney gassing and Malkoun stopping him late. That's definitely a possibility here. So if you want to bet that, I'd say bet that at your own risk. But yeah, give me Jacob Malkoun here. I did not think I was going to get him as a lone wolf, but so be it.
The bettors who are using the DraftKings website also feel that way because Finney has 69% of the bets. This is Thursday, by the way, so this is probably going to change. 69% of the bets for Torrez Finney, 92% of the money.
Oh my God.
So very little faith in Jacob Malkoun in this fight from people who are betting early.
That's crazy.
Okay.
It'll change though. I don't see it being that, but I do see Finney being sharp.
Boy, this fight right here makes me laugh a lot. Cam Rowston
Battle
versus Cody
draft.
Brundage. Cam Rowston goes on Contender Series, loses to
Torrez Finney.
Comes back and has just been a dog since then, man. And now he's getting the Cody Brundage's test. I feel like they only give Cody Brundage like prospects that are really good, and they just come in to absolutely destroy Cody Brundage. That's how I see it going. I'm going Cam Rowston by knockout here. Poor Cody Brundage, man. I feel bad for this guy. Because this guy just gets put through the ringer. He's on the level. No, he's not on that level yet. But he's nearing the junior Tafa level. Like, what are we doing in the UFC kind of level? Cody Brundage.
Nah, he's not like that bad.
He's not
a
that
nice
bad.
guy, Sam.
He
He's
is-
a
no,
nice guy.
And he beat McConaughey. I will die on that hill that he won that fight.
He definitely beat McConaughey. Let's be so real. I'm not saying he's at that level yet, and he's not in the what are we doing in the UFC level because he is a good fighter. He's just been put through the ringer with some of the best prospects in the UFC, and now you're getting one of the best Australian prospects we have in this competition. So give me Cam Rowston, give him by TKO here, and rip Cody Brundage. He's not done from the UFC yet. He could be. I don't know. But give me Cam Rowston.
I don't know how you guys keep throwing me these lone wolves, man. Like I genuinely don't.
No way.
I'm taking Cam Rowston, and I think Cam Rowston puts on a show. I had me for a second.
Yeah.
I had y'all both thinking about it. No. I mean, Rowston's striking is sharp. Again, another CKB guy. City kickboxing, just a long jab, long lead hand. He's got legit BJJ too. I believe he submitted Petrovsky, if I remember correctly. He's 6'3", 75-inch reach. He is going to be touching up Brundage from range. Brundage is a wrestler, power overhands, but he's also one of the few in the UFC that you always just see getting hurt and turtling. It's just it is how it is. And I think Rowston is defensively sound enough to survive the wrestling attempts and then just light him up. So I'm going to say Rowston gets it done inside the distance. Sam, I don't know if you mentioned a club and sub, right? Did you?
I did not say club and sub. I said TKO.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll say it's a club and sub. I think he hurts him, gets on top, and chokes him out. Looking at the total, the under 1.5 is minus 120. So I like the inside the distance props. I think it's most likely going to be a knockout, but I think it could be a sub too. I'm going to look at his line by finish actually and see what it is. Rowston by finish is it's minus 185, but if you want to parlay it, I think it'll still work. And then Rowston by KO is plus 150. So that's pretty safe money as well. So give me Rowston. I think he does it by finish.
All right.
I agree. I could give you a whole spiel.
Oh, sorry. I didn't.
No,
you
it's
didn't get
okay.
to pick, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, you guys pretty much said it. Rowston's the longer, bigger fighter. I think Brundage he's actually really not a bad fighter.
He's not bad. It's just he's not bad. He just gets put through the ringer with some of the best prospects in the UFC.
Like the one thing that makes him bad is he's just super inconsistent. Like if he was a little more consistent, I think we'd view him in a different way. But hey, bro, that's a UFC 300 main card fighter.
Yeah, I think that's the other reason people give him a ton of crap. Main card on UFC 300 was the most insane thing ever.
But yeah, no, I really like Rowston's chances in this fight. So yeah, that's it. Give me Rowston by finish.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Next fight is let's see.
Oh, your boy. Your boy.
It is your boy.
I knew it was the next fight. I was just setting that up. All right. I got a confession to make about this fight. Because I think Junior Tafa has a chance. Dare I say? I have a little faith in him. Billy Elikana has proved nothing in the UFC. I'm going to be honest. He fought, who did he fight? He fought Ibo Aslan, who's been terrible.
Yeah, and Kevin Christian, who's also bad.
Kevin Christian, who is not great either. I don't think we're going to be hearing his name much anymore.
Lost to Guskov.
Yeah. These are two guys who have not proved anything in the UFC just yet. I remember also, Elikana was a heavy underdog to Ibo Aslan. And Ibo Aslan, that says Ibo Aslan at the time, like, we didn't really know, but Elikana beating him was a shock. And credit to Elikana. And he will beat Junior Tafa. Junior Tafa will get cut from the UFC after this fight. If he doesn't, I don't know what is going on. They cut Justin. They better cut Junior now. But this is not like a Justin Tafa fight or a Junior Tafa fight where they're getting ranked up to somebody higher than them in competition and just speed run to the top for whatever freaking reason. I actually think the UFC did a good matchmaking job with Junior Tafa here. Is he a terrible fighter? Absolutely. He is atrocious, and I never want to see him on a UFC fight ever again after this. I may even just when I'm watching the card, I may just turn the TV off when this fight comes on and then turn it back on after the fact.
I don't think you're gonna do that.
Sam, I think you're the Tafa family's biggest op.
I probably am. No, give me Elikana here, but I wouldn't rule it out. I'm not ruling it out.
I can go. Yeah, I mean,
someone's picking Tafa here. Just watch.
It's a perfect matchup, like you said, Sam. I mean, you have a guy in Tafa who is a solid striker, absolutely abysmal ground game, no takedown defense, and you have a guy in Billy Elikana who's not a great striker, but he has a very solid ground game. And if it hits the mat, then obviously Elikana is going to win. What I've seen from Billy Elikana is in the Ebo fight. I don't even want to talk about that fight because it was just so abysmal. There literally nothing happened. It was like whoever did less than nothing was gonna lose, and Ibo Aslan did less than nothing. In the Kevin Christian fight, I think Christian is kind of he is on the same level as Tafa in terms of just really no ground game, and it was kind of just easy work for Billy Elikana. Now, the question is, what Billy Elikana are we going to get? Are we going to get a guy that kind of just stands on the outside, pokes and pries, and feels him out for a round? Or are we going to get an assertive Billy Elikana that we haven't really seen before? And he's going to take this down to the mat and really get it done. I don't know. We're going to find out on fight night. But if it stays on the feet, that is Junior Tafa's fight. Like, that is his fight. He got submitted by Tuco Tokos in his last fight.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that was atrocious.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. There is a massive part of me that wants to take Junior Tafa in this fight.
I don't.
So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
I knew it.
Give me Junior Tafa to knock out Billy Elikana and prove Sam wrong.
If he knocks out Billy Elikana, he does not prove much to me. I'll put it that way.
All right, you know what?
Chris, they're gonna give him if they win this fight, they're gonna give him like Magomed Ankalaev next. I swear.
I'm going Billy Elikana. I'm going Billy Elikana.
I'll take it. I'm probably gonna wind up switching my pick. Just heat of the moment. I really want to take Junior Tafa.
Man, Tafa is fun. He can crack, but he might be the most one-dimensional dude on the roster. Like, the ground game just is not there. And if you can chain wrestle him, you can literally just own this guy the whole fight. Elikana is just more well-rounded. You know, technical kickboxing, very good jab, solid grappling. He definitely has the submission threat. I see a clear pathway for him. You know, just mix strikes, change levels. Eventually, Tafa gives up something, right? So Elikana by submission is going to be my pick. His money line is minus 250. I'm not saying minus 250 is like one that you should bet, but stylistically, Elikana, I would have thought he'd be a much wider favorite than this. You know, I thought he was going to be like minus 300 plus.
That's what I'm saying, bro. They hear me.
But I mean, I think the total and round stuff is tricky because Elikana can be patient, as it was mentioned. Which version are we going to get? But I still think Elikana gets the finish at the end of the day. So give me Son of Susie in this one.
Wow,
I'll take the lone wolf
pick on the War Room.
That was kind of a mean pick. I'm being
a fight where like I said, this is a fight that I think Junior Tafa could win. And by the way, can we just talk about this being the feature prelim is crazy to me. It's crazy to me how this guy gets.
No, I think it's going to end in a car crash.
Oh my god! Just go to bare knuckle, Junior Tafa. I will love you if you go to bare knuckle. Yeah, if you fight in bare knuckle and you fight anywhere in the United States, I will watch you fight and I will cheer you. I will be Junior Tafa's #1 fan if he goes to bare knuckle and fights in the United States.
Damn, maybe he has to go to bare knuckle so he can gain a fan.
All right, main card. Quillan Salkilld, Jamie Malarkey. What we got,
this is going to be a car crash.
Sanctioned murder.
Yeah, this is going to be a car crash.
What are they doing to Jamie Malarkey? Like genuinely, what is this matchmaking? I'm being super serious right now. Like, Salkilld is a blue chip prospect. You know, like clean kickboxing, very, very sharp timing, real power in the hands and in the legs. Plus, he can grapple. He just violently head kicked Nasrat, and Malarkey got knocked out by Nasrat. Like, I'm not trying to MMA math this, but Malarkey's not winning this fight. Like, he's upright, he's stiff, he doesn't move his head, he gets hit a lot, and against a precise offensive striker like Salkilld, I think that is a death sentence. I'm taking Salkilld by knockout round 1. I'm looking at the under 1.5. It's minus 166. Like, this kind of just feels like what minute of round 1 does this fight end? No matter what, it's going to end up with Salkilld winning.
I agree. I think you said it perfectly. This is sanctioned murder. You also never see 2 Australians fighting on a Perth card, which I found very interesting.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at this point in his career, Jamie Malarkey's kind of a punching bag. He did win his last fight. Who did he fight again? I kind of forgot. I haven't really been paying too much attention.
It was also
Oh yeah, Bedoya
Yeah.
sucks. Like, sorry, Rolando Bedoya.
I remember I
you're-
picked Malarkey on
you're not
that
good.
one. Yeah.
But
Sorry.
yeah, I mean, I in this, I mean, what else are we gonna? What else is Quillan Salkilld gonna pull out of his bag? We saw the head kick knockout. We've seen the crisp right hands. I think this is kind of just gonna be his playground, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, this is not gonna be a fair fight for Jamie Malarkey, and Salkilld is just gonna continue his trajectory into stardom, and it's gonna be in a big way. First round, under half a round. That's what I'm putting this at. It didn't work for me with the Taba Gautier, but that's just because he didn't want to. He got the call from Vegas mid-fight in his earpiece to say, "Yo, Chris has money on under half a round. Don't follow up when you kill the guy." But yeah, I think that I think this is going to be pretty violent.
Yeah. Here's my question to you. Did Jamie Malarkey's family own a bakery?
He better hope they didn't.
He better hope they
better hope
didn't.
they
Because
didn't.
yeah, I think this is gonna be a domination of Quillan Salkilld. One of the best prospects we have. And my pick for knockout of the year last year. No, I changed it to King Green.
Still crazy.
Getting knocked out. I changed it to King Green last minute. Y'all convinced me. But Quillan Salkilld is gonna knock him out.
Don't call
This is
him
gonna be-
King Green. That is Bobby Green.
Yo, I'm dead. I'm dead.
Anyway,
Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
oh my god. Yeah, Quillan Salkilld is gonna murder him. So that's my prediction. Let's move on. I think that's an obvious one. 2, another fighter that really needs to prove it. Tai Tuivasa. 2 fighters that really need to prove it. Tai Tuivasa, Talisman the Sheriff. Shrikar, you were laughing earlier at some thoughts about this fight. I'll start with you then.
Yeah, man. I'm going Taliesin Teixeira, and I don't think it's even remotely close. You know, Ty was battling weight issues recently, and I just don't know what version we're getting anymore. Prime Ty was insane, but we are not in that era. We look at the measurables. Teixeira is 6'7", 260, ridiculous reach.
6'7".
83 inches. I'm not entertaining it, Chris. I'm not doing it.
Sorry, I wanted
Not
you to
doing
say
it.
something. I just had
Chris,
to say.
we
it.
are in 2026. It
It is
we are beyond past
2026.
that.
We are beyond 6'7". All right. No more. No more.
Dude, but I literally have the Hornets game on right now.
I didn't ask. Ridiculous reach, man. 83 inches. He throws straight shots with real power. And yes, he got caught by Derek Lewis, but Lewis is Lewis, man. And that stoppage was kind of weird too. I know some people may have thought he was recovering, and I don't know. I don't think Ty can generate Derek Lewis type power at this stage of his career, and I think Ty is way too hittable for an accurate straight puncher. So I'm going to Teixeira by knockout. I think he does it early. Teixeira by knockout is, let me see. I believe it would probably be, if his money line is that. Okay, it's minus 225. So you can bet that if you want. You can put in a parlay. Teixeira in round 1 will probably be good. Teixeira in round 2 will also be good because I think he'll get it done in the first 2 rounds at least. But give me Teixeira by KO.
I want to hear what you
Yeah.
think about this, Sam.
Yeah. Man, this is an interesting one. You look at Tai Tuivasa, look at those 5 L's right there. Just has not won in a while.
Rosenstrike, Tabora, Volkov, Pavlovich, gone.
Yeah, put through the ringer. This is a must-win fight for him. And Shrikar, you picked
Teixeira.
God, man, I don't know about this one. Look, Teixeira is the favorite here, the heavy favorite. Tuivasa hasn't fought since when? 2023?
Yeah, he took the full year off.
Took the full year off. And he needs it bad, man. This is a winnable fight for him. I'm not going to lie. I'm gonna pick him. I'm picking Tai
Oh,
Tuivasa.
I wanted the lone
You
wolf.
wanted the lone wolf.
No way, I'm getting a lone wolf on Taliesin Teixeira too.
My
Yeah.
pick is strictly contingent on the weigh-in. If he looks bad on the scales, I'm gonna flip my
Yes,
pick.
I will
saying
switch
that right now.
If it is, I will also say that. I need to see the weight of Tai
Yeah,
Tuivasa.
I need to see how he looks on the scale.
Look, this guy has been at the top of MMA, not the top of MMA, but one of the better heavyweight fighters in the UFC. He takes the year off, gets his health together. I'm very curious to see what happens now because I think a healthy Tai Tuivasa against let's be honest, an unproven Taliesin Teixeira has not fought anyone at the heavyweight division, and the one time he did, he lost. He got knocked out instantly by Derek Lewis, who looked horrible in his last fight. It's winnable. It's absolutely winnable for Tai Tuivasa, and that's why I'm picking him by knockout here, pending the weigh-in. I have to step
The
out
last
for 2
3
minutes.
fights were also winnable.
Yeah, I have to step up. They've all been winnable. That's the thing. We'll see. But I think a year off, getting back in shape, I'm curious to see what it's like. I have to step out for 2 minutes. Chris, go ahead about your pick.
Yeah. I think Sam said it perfectly. I mean, this is a winnable fight. This is also part recency bias. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's not. I mean, Derek Lewis, he just went in there. He didn't let Taliesin play the range game. He just went in there and brawled and caught him with something. I think, obviously, I think Derek Lewis is a little bit more powerful than Tai Tuivasa, but Tai has power too. It's just we don't know what we're going to get from Tai. That's a long layoff for someone that big. He has looked not the best when he is shown on camera at these UFC events. That's why I said in the beginning, strictly contingent on the weigh-in. If he looks bad on the scales, I'm gonna flip my pick. So make sure, perfect time to plug the Instagram and the socials. Right below our screen, you see MMA War Room Pod on Instagram, Twitter. Check that on Saturday. We will be posting our finalized predictions after the weigh-ins and everything. Just so you know, sometimes things change a little bit. It won't be drastic, but a few fights may change. So yeah, definitely make sure to check that out around, I would say between like noon and 2:00. It gets posted at different times, but definitely 3 hours before the main card. So yeah, perfect time to plug that. But yeah, I mean, I think that Tai has the ability to just go in and crash. And like Sam said, this is a must-win fight. Taliesin hasn't really proven that much to me. He is a massive fighter. Don't get me wrong. And he does have the range tools at his disposal, excuse me. But Tai has knockout power with every punch, and he goes in there and he scraps. So depending on what Tai we're getting, if we're getting for what looks to be a healthier, somewhat in shape Tai, I do like his chances, especially with the value. I mean, like plus 250. That's a lot. Derek Lewis was plus 200 against Taliesin Teixeira, and he fought like he was minus 300. So yeah, I mean, it strictly contingent on the scales. I can't say that enough. But as of right now, barring, looking terrible, I like Tai in this fight.
Lone wolf. I'll take it.
Lone wolf for Shrikar. This is the bad wolf howl.
Bad wolf.
I hate the bad one. I hate that one. The first two are the same, and then it just goes to a really crappy one. But hey, you know what? One of these fighters is going to be called a really crappy fighter after that fight. Not this fight, though. My God, this fight is insane. This is a full-on war, and I am so excited for it.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
Man, you have Rafael Fiziev, one of the hardest hitting fighters in the UFC, was supposed to fight Charles Oliveira. Am I correct by that?
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Charles Oliveira. And that he ended up pulling out. And now he gets Mauricio Ruffy, one of the top prospects in the UFC. I'll let you guys start. I have some thoughts on this fight, but I'll let you guys start.
Chris, you go first. This is the toughest fight for me to pick on the card. Chris,
yeah,
you go first.
This is really tough. Look, on one hand, you have Rafael Fiziev, like Sam said, one of the hardest hitting fighters in the UFC. Excellent Muay Thai fighter, excellent striker, And now, I mean, we've seen an evolution to his game that he has incorporated grappling, which is a big surprise. It started with the Justin Gaethje fight where he shot 2 takedowns, landed them on Gaethje, who I'd like to say is a very good wrestler and has solid takedown defense. On the other hand, you have Mauricio Ruffy, who all the hype in the world, and after getting kind of blown out by BSD, the hype train derailed. Not fully. 1 car out of a 12-car train. There's just a little bit of doubt after seeing that someone took advantage of Ruffy in a way that we've never seen before. We've never really seen Ruffy deal with adversity on the ground. And BSD did a perfect job implementing that game plan and executing it as well, and just straight up domination. Ruffy, after that fight, left the Fighting Nerds. He is now training with City Kickboxing in Australia. I don't really know the reason. I don't know if you guys know the reason. Maybe just a fresh start. Yeah, maybe just a fresh start. Maybe some internal conflict in the gym. Who knows? But left the Fighting Nerds. Now he's at City Kickboxing, who, very good gym. Obviously, Volk, Adesanya, just to say the least. Maybe he wanted to take a little bit more of a grappling wrestling approach in his game and work on some holes. But I think people are putting a little bit too much emphasis on what BSD did to Ruffy in that last fight. But I still think it's noteworthy. I think you really need to look at it because, switching gyms for Ruffy, and especially seeing the holes in his grappling game, we don't know what we're going to see from Ruffy. We know we're going to get impeccable striking. That is a given. That is not going to leave him. We don't know the improvement that he's going to make in his ground game. For Fiziev, like I mentioned, the grappling, he's evolving. He's really taking that and making use of it. Like I said, took down Gaethje twice, took down Bahamondes 4 times, and held him there. And Bahamondes really struggled with that. I think that Fiziev can match Ruffy on the feet, even outpower him on the feet. And as of right now, that I don't know what is going on behind closed doors with Ruffy's grappling and what strides he's made. I'm going to take Fiziev in this fight. I really like Fiziev's chances in this fight. I'm going to take him by decision. I think it's going to be an absolute war. I think part of it's going to take place on the feet. And I think Fiziev's really going to utilize that grappling after seeing what happened to Ruffy, like many fighters are probably going to do in the future, unless, we see something different from him. But I really like this for Fiziev. I think this is his shot to really catapult himself back to the top after losing to Gaethje twice and blowing out his knee against Gamrot. I like this opportunity for him, and I think he's going to take it and run with it. So yeah, give me Rafael Fiziev by decision.
Man, y'all know Fiziev is one of my guys. I'm taking Mauricio Ruffy. Yes, the BSD fight was ugly. He got broken on the ground, strangled, exposed. But BSD is a monster grappler. And he's leveled up recently. And this matchup is different. Fiziev can grapple a bit, for sure, but he's not BSD. This is way more likely to be a high-level striking fight, and at range, I think Ruffy is definitely slick. Obviously, he has that wide stance, very precise with his straight shots, clean kicks, beautiful timing. And I think after that loss, he comes in smarter and with better takedown defense. Fiziev will have moments, leg kicks, body kicks, inside boxing, maybe even tries for the takedown, as Chris was kind of alluding to. But I think Ruffy takes 2 of 3 rounds, So I'm going Ruffy by decision. The over 2.5, I think, is money at -180. I see this one going the distance. Ruffy by decision is plus 240.
Not bad
I think
value.
that's the one that makes sense for me, and that's probably what I'll be betting on fight night. But yeah, give me Ruffy by decision.
Yeah. Let's talk about Ruffy a little bit. And I want to bring up another conversation with him. After losing the BSD, does he deserve this fight? That's
I think
my
it's a
big
fun
question.
fight. I think it's a great
I think so.
Fun fight.
I think it's a kind of like I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. It's a good chance for Ruffy to prove that was not his. That's a real saying, man.
No, it is a real saying.
Because
I think
I think Ruffy can prove that might have been a little bit of a fluke, and I think this is Fiziev's chance to say, "Hey, I'm back." Like that knee injury and the Keiichiro fight. Look, I wasn't myself. So,
yeah. I think I think I'm gonna go with. Oh, this is tough, man. I do think it's a deserving fight for Ruffy, and I think this is gonna be a fun one. I'm going Fiziev. I'm going Fiziev.
Another lone wolf. Oh my god! It just
Streetcar is either going to be so far up on picks or so far behind after this week.
I mean, it doesn't even matter for me. It's the second event, but
yeah. Well, look, I like the ground game a lot more. Sorry, not the ground game. Excuse me. The fight, like just the standing game a lot more for him. His hands are a lot stronger. They're more experienced. And I think that's what puts him over the top is just the experience. Ruffy will get it. Ruffy is one of the best fighters, and this is a statement win if he pulls this off. And this could be like a Carlos Prata situation. You lose to Gary, and then you come back, and now you're a title contender. This could be what Mauricio
Silva did the same thing.
I know. It's crazy. But give me Rafael Fiziev in this one. Moving on to another banger.
Streetcar is like beaming that he has so many lone wolves right now.
This is awesome.
This is
how long will it last?
Yeah. And speaking of BSD, here he is going up against Dan Hooker, and the winner could potentially get a title shot here. I'm not gonna lie.
I wouldn't go that far.
They would be one away at least. I'm going to go. Oh, this is a tough one. Look. Here's my thing with BSD. His win, I fear his win against Beneil Dariush did not prove anything. It proved nothing. Dariush is just like, that was one of the weirdest fights I've ever seen. It ended so quick. I'm excited to see him get a test like this. I'm going to go Dan Hooker, though. I think something that BSD had writing for him the last time, as much as I hate to say, was the crowd in Paris. He had that riding with him a lot. I think Dan Hooker, yeah, he got destroyed by Arman Sarukian. I will not lie. He got destroyed. And BSD is on a higher roll right now. I'm going to get a big underdog here in Dan Hooker. But I think Dan Hooker grappling, he's a good takedown defense. I know that's where BSD thrives at. And BSD is going to try to go for the ground. Well, Dan Hooker is going to try to throw here. And I think at the end of the day, Dan Hooker can get it done. It is going to be a hard-fought fight. I think it goes the distance. I think this could be what the fight of the night. Is it a 5-rounder or a 3-rounder? I think it's a 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, should be a 3. But I'm going Dan Hooker by decision. Very close. Could be a split decision.
Chris, you want to go or should I go?
You can go.
Yeah, we just saw Dan Hooker fight 2 months ago. Got subbed by Arman. And I'm picking BSD to do something very similar. BSD is relentless pressure, physically imposing, strong wrestler. Definitely has some nasty top control, and he's gotten more patient on the ground. I think he now favors positional dominance and just uses that to get the submission opportunities, and it's also clean. He's definitely evolved as a fighter. Hooker's a very good striker, solid clinch. Takedown defense isn't terrible, but if he tries to go for the ghillie on BSD, like, he is going to end up on his back eating concrete. All right. I think Hooker lands some clean shots. I think he hits BSD to the body, knees, elbows, all that. But BSD just walks through it and keeps chaining takedowns until he gets what he wants. So I'm going to say BSD by submission here. Obviously, his money line is minus 310. If we look at BSD by sub, it is plus 150. I love that number personally. So, yeah, give me BSD by submission.
Sam, you got a lone wolf.
There you go.
Woo! Let's go.
I'm taking BSD by sub too. I think the
You don't got the lone wolf. No, don't howl.
I was doing it for you. Yo, wolves travel in a pack. I got you.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Arman fight really showed a lot about what Hooker can do and what he struggles with, and it's always been the grappling. We know Dan Hooker's he's just a stand and bang type of guy. He can fight with anyone on the feet. He's tough as nails. You know, you can't really rattle his cage. But I think that BSD, he's finally getting back to that point of, you know, right before when he fought Poirier. And Poirier kind of he derailed the hype train so bad. And then he lost to Moicano. And then I was like, oh my God, what is happening with BSD? Bounces back with a 3-fight win streak. And, you know, like you said, Sam, putting really no emphasis on the Dariush fight. We all knew that was going to happen. It was Benny is, we'll save that conversation for another day, but he's the big W word. I think that BSD this is his fight, man. I mean, I think he can stand toe to toe with Hooker, but that's not going to be the game plan. It's going to be take him down, chain wrestle, and find a sub, get him out of there quick, and just, you know, kind of derail the Dan Hooker train, because I mean, Dan Hooker, he does very well in favorable matchups. I just don't think that this is a favorable matchup for him. I think it's a weakness versus strength. And I don't think that BSD is going to really leave it to the imagination and give Hooker a chance to do what he wants to do, which is stand, strike, show who's really tougher in the octagon. I think that BSD is going to kind of just take it to him and kind of give him a little lullaby and put him to sleep.
Interesting. So I got a lone wolf for that one. Now, main event. Volk Lopez. Who wants to start this?
I'll start it. I'd love to start this. First, let's talk about the matchup. I get it. On paper, this fight feels unnecessary. Lopez already got a shot. He lost pretty clearly. And it's not like he's gone on some undeniable run since then. He hasn't lapped the division. He hasn't passed a line of contenders with one spinning elbow knockout. So yeah, if you want to roll your eyes at the booking, I think that is fair. But here's where I think people go too far. People are assuming this fight is already decided.
I agree.
I completely disagree. Two things can be true at the same time. Volkanovski was really, really good in the first fight. Like, genuinely excellent in the first fight. He looked sharp. He looked composed, disciplined. I mean, he showed levels, right? He reminded everyone exactly why he was the champ in the first place. But also, Diego completely choked, all right? And I don't mean it where it's like, oh, he had an off night. He choked. Like, the kind of performance where it looked like his basic MMA concepts just disappeared the moment he was standing across from Volk. I mean, his footwork was off. His boxing was awkward, very, very hesitant. I think the whole sense of range and timing was gone. The grappling entries, they're usually good. They're usually dangerous, but not to be found. You know, even his risk management, it's normally chaotic, but it was just bad, you know, and it was a total breakdown from a fighter who's usually way better than that. And here's the weird part, because that performance and how bad it was actually tells you something important, because a normal Diego Lopez, the real version, the aggressive guy, you know, the marauder, as Joe Rogan would like to say, is not getting knocked out by Alexander Volkanovski. That's just not how Volk wins fights. And if Lopez is operating like himself for 5 rounds, he is going to touch up Volkanovski. He is going to put a beating on him. At this stage of Volk's career, given the miles, given the chin, you know, it's aging, the slightly slower defensive reactions, you know, elite confident strikers are starting to land on him more consistently. I think those moments definitely matter. So if Diego is himself, he doesn't need to dominate every second of the fight. He just needs enough contact for a finish to eventually show up. Now, the catch is we don't know which Diego Lopez is showing up. That's the risk. That's always been the risk. But if he shows up at his best, and if he's actually himself this time, that is a very hard fight for Volk, no matter how clean the first one looked, and no matter how bad Lopez was when he wasn't, you know, at his best. Diego Lopez, I think he gets it done by knockout or decision. And I think It's plus 200 for knockout or decision, plus 300 for his knockout line. Decision by itself is plus 650. If I'm choosing, I think he knocks out Volk, but I think knockout or decision is definitely there. So, yeah, give me Diego here. I think he'll show up. He'll make the adjustments. It'll be like Ankalaev Pereira too.
Oh, man. So, man, I feel like Shrikar, you and I have disagreed on a lot of picks. You're going Lopez.
Yep.
Oh, man, this is a tough one because I want to pick Diego Lopez here. I really do. He looked fantastic in that first fight against Volk. I'm going to be honest. He looked fantastic. Volk was just the better fighter, more outclassed. And this should not be an already decided fight. This is definitely a fight that Diego Lopez has a very good chance to win. My one concern, like you said, Shrikar, which Diego Lopez are we getting? His win against John Silva, I was not the most impressed with because I thought John Silva was winning that fight until Diego Lopez hit that shot at the end. And that concerned me a lot. The fact he even got a title shot concerned me a lot because I thought it should have gone to Evloev. It should have gone to Lerone Murphy over Diego Lopez. And the fact they're doing this a second time is interesting. Shrikar, you and I are going to agree on a pick for once because I'm also going to take Diego Lopez in this fight. And I have a feeling that might change. I am still very on the fence about this fight. I'm not going to lie. But for now, at time of recording, I'm going with Diego Lopez because he looked fantastic in that fight. And I think he's ready to bounce back and do it again. He is a hungry dog and hungry dogs run faster. Will I stick with Diego Lopez come the fight? You can follow us at War Room MMA Pod on Instagram to find out. We'll post our predictions there. Chris, are we doing a clean sweep on the main event? I did not think that would happen.
Good, because it's not. I'm taking Volk.
Yeah, knew it.
Taking the old man, Grandpa Volk. Tonight will be
Holy parody on this card.
Over again. Did you see him singing that? That shit is so funny.
I did. That was phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, I really think Diego Lopez can win this fight and maybe will. Probably will. But I just think Volk's too smart to put himself in harm's way. I feel like it might just be another version of the first fight in terms of Lopez is going to have his moments. Don't get me wrong. He almost knocked out Volk in the first fight, and then Volk readjusted, started playing it a little more safe, a little more strategically. I don't think Volk's outright going to bum rush him because that's not how you beat Diego Lopez, because he's just going to take what you're throwing and throw it back 10 times harder. And Diego's chin is made of granite. This dude he's not going to get knocked out. Volk's best path to victory is a 5-round decision. He's not submitting Diego either. I think Diego Lopez's best path to victory is, like you guys said, I think it's knockout. I think that you have one guy who has all the hype in the world in Diego Lopez. And I know, John Silva was winning in that second round, but you got to also remember the first round. He whooped John Silva up and down the block and got him. He had him flattened out. I was surprised the fight didn't stop right then and there. They just gave John Silva a chance to, get out of it. And then Volk, I just feel like it might be the experience factor. Not saying Diego's inexperienced. I just feel like Volk's experience might be able to carry him through this fight. The one thing I'm worried about is the big shot. He did beat Diego Lopez. And we were talking about it before, because this is before we started the podcast. I went to Shrikar and Sam's house in Syracuse with a bunch of friends, and we were talking about it leading up to the fight, that, how is Volk's chin going to hold up? Getting knocked out back-to-back twice by head kick from Islam and just absolute death touch.
Which, for what it's worth, in the first fight, I had Diego by knockout round 1. So
Yep.
Not like I took Volk in the first fight either.
Right. Yeah. And I actually I had Diego too, I think. Pretty
Mhm.
sure I did. I might need to check the bet slips. I might have had Volk. Regardless, doesn't matter. That was the big question. Is the chin gonna hold up? It did, because Diego threw some hard-hitting shots at Volk, and Volk almost did get finished. I mean, Diego had his moments, like I said, and I think that he's gonna have his moments in this fight. But I was impressed with the way that Volk kind of traversed through the adversity and was able to really solve the puzzle in real time. And it was a close fight. It wasn't a blowout. Not by any means necessary.
No.
I think it was unanimous 48-47, maybe a 49-46 in there, but I know 2 judges had it 48-47. I just feel like Volk in Australia, can I pick against him? And by the way, there is like an insane
you
amount.
lost in Australia in a championship bout to Islam.
Yeah, I know, Adesanya. Well, that was your guy's first fight that I showed you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Volk lost to Islam too.
Volk did lose to Islam. But yeah, I don't know. For what it's worth, though, there is crazy amounts of money on Diego Lopes right now, and it's sharp as hell. 55% of the bets on Diego Lopes, 86% of the money. There is a lot of people riding with Diego Lopes. Will I change my pick before Saturday? Potentially. I would say it's a coin flip, 50-50. But right now, I feel like it might go the same way as the first fight. And if it does, then we need to talk about where we put Volk in the all-time rankings. We really do. And that'll be part of our recap. 100%.
You hear that, T-Money? You hear that?
It's
because me and my boy T-Money were talking about where Volk is all-time, whether he's ahead of Anderson Silva or not. We were just debating that for a good, chunk of time. So.
I think if he wins this fight, undoubtedly he's ahead of Silva.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah, it's a bunch of intangibles that we don't really know. A bunch of unknowns, excuse me. That intangible was not the right word. It's a bunch of unknowns that we don't know. Is Grandpa Volk getting older? Are the wheels starting to fall off? Or is Diego Lopes going to show up and pressure from the start and not give Volk a chance to breathe? Because if he backs Volk into a corner, it's over. I really think so. If he really just puts pedal to the metal from the opening bell, I don't know how long Volk's going to be able to last with that amount of power and precision coming at him constantly. But the first fight isn't that far removed. It was almost a year ago. And I don't think Diego Lopes has changed how he fights that much. I don't really see a big gap in where he was a year ago until now. Not saying he's a bad fighter. I just think that if Volk was able to solve the puzzle in the first fight, I just have a hunch that he might be able to solve it in this fight. But yeah, I'm not too sure. But as of right now, on Thursday at 10:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am picking Alexander Volkanovski and still in his home of Australia.
Lone Wolf? Or
Lone
no?
Wolf for Chris. A lot of parity
Lone
on this card, man. UFC 325. This is going to be a fun one.
We never have parity, too. This is a big one.
About damn time, dude. Oh, my God.
Yo, picks are going to be crazy for next week. Someone's record or multiple people's records are either going to be.
We always do this. We always say this, and then it ends up.
And then it'll be even. We'll wind up all going 7 for 7
Same
somehow.
Record,
yeah, literally. But that's going to do it for this episode of MMA War Room. We will see you hopefully on Sunday, maybe Monday, for a recap of this card.
Probably Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Last ranked card for a while. We got month and a half layoff. It's gonna be a lot, but I'm excited for this one.
As long as there's an event.
There's some good fights coming up. It'll be a fun one. So we will see you next time on the MMA War Room.